Thank you. Thank you, Corrine, and thanks to my friends and colleagues for all of their hard work. Thanks also to my fellow officers, Rick Peters and Dennis Dimitri. Boston is largely a baseball town. Using a baseball analogy, I don't know if I hit a home run this year, got a base hit, or struck out. Let's assume I simply walked and stole a base or two. The three batters can now come to the plate. I do want to tell you who is on deck. Rick, I value your organizational skills and your ability to focus on the core of an issue. I'm sure these skills will be valuable to you in the coming year. Dennis, you are a passionate and knowledgeable advocate for primary care. I've admired your ability to analyze the issues while becoming an excellent spokesperson for the society. Our incoming Vice President, Jim Gesner, isn't able to be here tonight. His knowledge of financial issues was so impressive that when he made his presentations to the board on the society's finances, I thought he was a member of the financial staff. He has a clear and nuanced understanding of the consolidating healthcare market, and that will prove valuable in the years to come. My thanks and congratulations to all of you. Well, this has been definitely a challenging year, from EHRs and meaningful use, to payment reform and ACOs, to the SGR, to medical marijuana, and many more issues. There's always been something interesting, important, and urgent to address. I soon realized what every president before me discovered, that while I might have plans for my term in office, the world would have other ideas. Our schedule really isn't our own, and sometimes the agenda is set by others. The time we spend reacting to a myriad of issues, especially healthcare reform, dwarfs the things we want to accomplish proactively. Our voice this year was loud, consistent, and clear. We spoke forcefully for physicians, for patients, and our vision of a good and just healthcare system. I'm proud of what we were able to do, but not satisfied. Clearly, we do this in the context of a very powerful mission and vision for our profession and for our Commonwealth. This society was founded to give physicians a forum to support each other, to support the art and science of medicine, and to make a meaningful difference in our patients' lives. These principles are at our core, and they never go away. During this past year, I've come to realize that the best way to achieve these objectives and honor our purpose is to attempt to deeply engage the physicians of Massachusetts in our work, and to empower them in their own workplace. This has become increasingly difficult. In the past, when most physicians had an almost daily purposeful connection with each other in their local hospitals, the means of fostering and nurturing engagement and a sense of community were more straightforward. Not so today. When hospitals and systems consolidating at breakneck speed, engaging physicians in our work is more difficult than ever. More and more physicians are becoming employees, and fewer of us are truly independent. The emerging institutional dynamic places less value on the physician as a professional and more value on his or her ability to keep the system or network running smoothly. Physicians must have a voice. We must have the ability to speak collectively for each other and for our patients. You could call it advocacy. Physicians hunger for a movement in a positive direction, and that is what we can provide. The future viability of this medical society is directly dependent on our ability to help physicians regain their voice. We must engage the intelligence, passion, and compassion of the remarkable men and young women who become physicians every year. I know I'm preaching to the choir, as the fact that you're here tonight shows that you get it. But we can do better. We must do better. We must expand our ability to engage and promote the leadership of physicians of every kind, and I mean every kind, men and women, new and experienced, small practice, large practice, rural and city, employed and independent, everyone. We used to say that if you join a committee and come to our annual meetings and our district meetings, that meant you were engaged. But that definition isn't sufficient anymore. Today, every hour spent away from patients is lost income, even for salaried physicians. Young physicians in particular resist the notion of taking even one more hour away from their heavily scheduled days and away from their families. Committee attendance can't be the only way we allow people to engage in our work. It has to be more important than that. It has to be different. Clearly, we must do better, but how? What does engagement look like in 2014? I'm not sure I know the precise answer, but I've seen glimpses of what could be our road ahead. Last summer and fall, we spent a lot of time meeting physicians throughout the Commonwealth, focusing on a single topic: how physicians can establish their place and find their voice in this rapidly consolidated healthcare system, where ACOs are multiplying, where clinical integration is demanded and financial integration mandated, where the pull of employment is strong and difficult to resist. We went everywhere. The discussions were lengthy and substantive. Some physicians went to more than one. Holding those meetings around the state was very important because on this topic, location means everything. The Cape's circumstances are different from the Berkshires, which are different from Worcester, as well as from the North, and so on. We customized our presentation based on local circumstances. One size does not fit all. Clearly, we were doing something that our colleagues found valuable. These meetings were very well attended. We met people we had not seen before. Something in those meetings struck a chord. They were similar to our long-standing district programs, yet they were quite different. What made them successful? Was it the focus on a single issue? Perhaps it was the urgent need for physicians to understand the changes created by consolidations and healthcare reform. We need to discuss these issues carefully to understand where we can do better. We also have to narrow the widening gap between the group of physicians in hospitals and the physicians in the community. These used to be the same people. That is not the case anymore. As we expand our reach into group practices, we must find a way to reach the physicians below the highest leadership levels of the large networks and practices. In most cases, we have a good relationship with the group's leaders, but if we don't engage the physicians in the rank and file, we're not reaching our potential. We can do better, and we will be required to do things differently. The world around us is changing, so why should we be immune to change? Standing still when everyone else is moving forward is the same thing as falling behind. We must remove every barrier to engagement that we can identify, barriers that were not intentional, but which are barriers nonetheless. If we try new things, new possibilities will be before our eyes, and the opportunities to grow will multiply. I'm certain of that. Why? Because we are here for the best reasons of all, not for ourselves, but for the people who depend on our skill, passion, and compassion every day. With that core mission, we will prevail. My friends, the opportunity to serve as your president has been more interesting and involved than I ever could have imagined. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you.